Welcome back to chapters 3 and 4 from Book 1, Wednesday and Woof, Catastrophe. Chapters 3 and 4. This chapter is called Which Way Did She Go? We are reading Wednesday and Woof, Catastrophe. This is Book 1 by Sherry Winston. We found a little bit about our main character, Wednesday. She has juvenile arthritis, or JA for short, and she has a service dog. And they are looking for their neighbor's cat. We're going to find out more about that cat. Which way did she go? Chapter 3. Mrs. Winter is leading us to the scene of the crime when a familiar bark makes the hairs on my arm tickle. Ruff, ruff, ruff. I look at Woof. He looks at me. We know that bark. It's the dog of my biggest rival and school bossy pants, Anita B. Mosier. Me and Woof pick up our pace until we're safely inside Mrs. Winter's backyard, away from bossy Anita B. and her equally bossy dog. This is Autumn's favorite spot in my yard, said Mrs. Winters. She waves her hand at a shady clump of grass near the tree. She's mostly an indoor cat, you know. I do know. Autumn Cat lived with Grandpa and us until we figured out that Rafe, my twin brother, was a little allergic. Now she lives with Mrs. Winters, but me and Grandpa still get to visit. Mrs. Winter points to the house and open window. Usually, if she leaves her special perch in the window, Autumn will come out here and take a nap, she says, but only when it's shady. She doesn't like too much sun, and she isn't a fan of all the noise in the park either. Please tell us everything you remember, I say, pulling out my pad and pencil. Woof sits by my side, ready to listen. There she is, ready to go with her pad and pencil. Woof has a perfect memory, but I need to take notes. Mrs. Winters says she saw the cat hop onto the lawn and cozy up to her favorite spot. But when Mrs. Winters looked out her window again, Autumn was gone. And she was wearing her favorite diamond-studded red collar. I had the diamonds removed from one of my old tiaras, she said. I try not to let my eyes go boing out of my head. A missing cat? A diamond cat collar? Is it possible Autumn isn't just lost? Maybe someone took her. Is the collar worth a lot of money, I ask? I'm holding on to the pencil so hard it slips from my fingers. Woof scoops it up in his teeth and waits for me to take it back. Mrs. Winters twists her lips to one side like she's thinking hard. She says, "A lot of money? I suppose so. But what does that matter? It's Autumn I'm concerned about." Woof and I exchange looks. Mrs. Winters doesn't get it. There's the collar. So we're going to go to our notepad. Wednesday and Woof Detective Agency. Clues. First bullet. Strange boys hanging out near Miss Winter's house. Second bullet. Autumn is wearing a fancy, expensive diamond collar. Third bullet. Conclusion. Maybe the boys are diamond thieves? Fourth bullet. But what would a bunch of fourth grade boys know about diamonds? Bullet number 5. Need more clues. Could the boys really be diamond thieves or worse, catnappers? I almost tell Mrs. Winters what I'm thinking, except Woof says it's not a good idea. Well, he doesn't say it out loud, but I can tell he's thinking what he's thinking. Mrs. Winters dabs her eyes with a tissue. Her long black eyelashes quiver like spider legs. Woof looks afraid. He does not like spiders or quivery black eyelashes that look like spiders. I scratch behind his ears to calm him down. Mrs. Winters tosses her arm over her face. Oh, yes, the pose of despair. You see that a lot in our line of work. Woof and I have been solving mysteries for a long, long time, almost 2 whole months. We've seen it all. What else can you tell us? I ask. Woof pays close attention. There's her tossing her arms in despair. A good detective asks the right questions. What else does Autumn like to do, I ask. A few facts about Autumn. She loves to, first bullet, lying in the shade. Second bullet, watching birds play. Third bullet, listening to the sound of lake waves lapping the shore. Fourth bullet, eating warm bread from the bakery. And the fifth bullet, being in a peaceful place. Oh my, Miss Winters wails, my beautiful kitty didn't even have breakfast. I'll bet she's so hungry. You must find her. Why didn't she eat, I ask. Mrs. Winter bats her spidery lashes. She was too excited about our trip, she says. Woof is already sniffing the air. He has the best nose in town. While he sniffs, I observe. My eyes go zoom, zoom, zoom all over the blades of grass. I look for anything out of the ordinary, anything that does not belong. Just then, Woof lets out a sharp woof, and I know what that bark means. That says I found a clue bark. My eyes continue to zoom, zoom, zoom. Then I see it too. Chapter 4. Follow that sparkle, I say. Woof agrees. He uses his nose and points at a shiny object. Look, Woof. I start to bend, but Woof nudges the object with his nose. He pushes it up, up, up against the huge rock beside the sidewalk. The higher he gets it, the less I have to bend. Thanks, Woof, I say, reaching for the shiny object. It's a little damp from his nose, but I don't mind. It's a diamond stud, just as what Miss Winters described. Woof, this is a great clue. Woo! He barks, and he wags his tail. Then he's on alert. When he barks again, he dips his head. He points with his nose to a trail of paw prints. When I show Mrs. Winters the diamond stud, she gasps. Oh my, that came off my little darling's collar. Don't worry, we'll find her soon. We follow the curving sidewalk, around the gate, and along the road. We pause. Woof sniffs the air. Then he sniffs the ground. I shove my notepad back inside Woof's vest pocket and take out my magnifying glass. I bend down for a closer look. Tiny footprints in the soft, dark earth of the flower bed. Not footprints, paw prints. Let's go, I say. Excitement tickles my skin and gives me a zing. This is way better than the time we helped old Mrs. Harris find her house shoes under her couch, or Mom find her new paint brushes in her closet. Excitement grows with each step. Auntie Nalia taught me to pay attention because one clue will lead to the next, then the next, and soon you've solved a crime. It doesn't take me long before I find 2 more diamond studs. Woof helps me to pick them up. Notice that? Then he points his nose at the ground and shows me another clue. The paw prints are all gone, I say. Why do they just seem to vanish? Then I remember the boys and think of something I hadn't remembered. Skateboards. The boys all had skateboards. I'm about to share my clue with Woof when I notice he's following his own clue. He growls low. I looked up just in time to see them, the 3 boys. They are racing across the street, all riding skateboards, and underneath the tall, thin boy's arm, something small, white, and fluffy. Note, you've already read 4 chapters. Where do you think the clues will lead? And look at the title of the next chapter. They're getting away. We'll have to stop here, and we'll finish up next time. Hopefully you've enjoyed Wednesday and Woof, Book 1, Catastrophe. You may want to try Book 2 and Book 3 and some of the other books that Sherry Winston has written.